American Nightmare has arrived. The son of a dream looking to realize his destiny in WWE. Multiple tag team and intercontinental championship reigns during his first run here in WWE. But now that the prodigal son has returned, Cody Rhodes has reached main event status.
Konnichiwa, minasan. I'm Great Oka Unite Empire. 今日は試合があった。そして彼がエンパイアの応援してくれるんですよ。みんな、ブローキンテーブルポッドキャストよろしく。
Yeah, hear the battle cry under the devil's sky. The one-winged angel screams. It fuels my hopes and dreams. The best revolution.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here as always with our reigning, defending Broken Predictions champion, King Rome. How you doing tonight, sir?
Well, my heart is one step closer to being complete. I'll just say that.
Oh man, that was an amazing ending to an absolutely fantastic Dynamite. Welcome everybody to the show here tonight. We got Ed Weber, we got the Coog and Coach Nick already up in here. Thank you guys very much for already joining us here in the chat. This was an excellent episode of Dynamite, but we got some really awesome news going on in the wrestling world as well. And King Rome has a small announcement about the King's Court tournament. So how about you take it away with the King's Court tournament there, Your Majesty?
Well, as you know, King's Court Invitational is approaching the first round at Double or Nothing 10 days from today. I promised the seeding and the matches that are taking place in the tournament, and I am now ready to announce the matches of the first round and the bracket for the tournament. Now, obviously, for the sake of not giving Jeff an advantage over anyone, he was not made aware, so there are no graphics yet. But once I tell Jeff right here, right now, he will begin making the graphics, so it will look all pretty. Anyways, let's get ready. Let's get into it. So just to remind everybody, the entrants in the tournament: Jeffrey Vegas, the Coog, Coach Nick, Juhas, Purpleness, Natasha, Ed, and the Joker. And the first match, the Joker. The first match of the first round will be Coach Nick versus Ed.
Woo! That's a main event right off the bat.
If you thought that was the main event, match number 2, Jeffrey Vegas. Now, I'm all about putting on a great show, and I know when I see a money match. Jeffrey Vegas, you're going to be taking on your rival, the man who leaks news about you to me, Juhas.
How did I know I would face him early in the first round of this?
Now, Jeff, I thought there were a lot of ways we could go with your matching. You know, a lot of ways that we could have you, embarrassed. We could put you against Juhas. We could put you against Purple, or we could put you against, your Warzone squad mate, the coach. Like, there were so many options here, but I thought that this was the best one at this time.
However, I like it. I like the challenge right off the bat.
Mm-hmm.
Coming for you, Juhas.
Match number 3 on the bracket will be Purpleness versus the Coog. And match number 4 on the bracket will be Natasha versus the Joker.
Ooh. All right, all right.
Now, as I said, this is the first round of the bracket, which will take place at Double or Nothing next week. We will do our prediction show. Now, to keep it simple for me and for the sake of the podcast, so I'm not scrambling with points and writing things down and everything, because there's a lot going on this time around. For the sake of the tournament, there will be a special way to submit your picks. You will have to either DM me on Discord or on Twitter and send me your predictions. Next week we'll have a cutoff date, but I would say probably the Friday before would be the cutoff. And that includes you, Jeff, in all fairness for everybody. So, yeah, just do a Google form. Yeah, I know, but that's what I'm going to do. But I just want everything locked in place, and I'm just going to do it that way. So that way I'm not typing a million things down during the show. So that's how we're going to do it. We're still going to do a preview pod. We're still going to talk about it, but picks are going to be submitted to me, and then I will, of course, after the shows, tally the votes, go through it all, announce winners, move on to the next round, etc., etc.
I'm excited for everybody to see their logos I created. I created a logo for everybody in the tournament. Hopefully everybody likes their logo, so we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Now, again, this is meant to be fun. Feel free to, you want to talk the talk. You know who you're facing now. You want to cut a promo and send it to Jeff. I'm sure Jeff can use anything you want to do. And we can have fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah.
All right, so let's get started with some news that, unless you're living under a rock in the wrestling world, you heard today at the Warner upfronts from Madison Square Garden. By the way, did you know that, Rome, that the upfronts were held at Madison Square Garden for Warner?
I did.
They announced AEW Collision, the Saturday show that will be airing from 8 to 10 p.m. live every Saturday. Man, I'm just absolutely so happy that it's going to be live, first of all.
Wow.
They featured Jade Cargill almost right off the bat in one of their pictures. They featured Jeff Jarrett right off the bat. And this is just this is awesome, man. We all knew it was coming. I love the logo, the AEW Saturday Collision. We got a press release here. I'm going to go ahead and move over to the press release. So, it says here, TNT launches a second night of wrestling with AEW Collision, featuring headliners Thunder Rosa, Miro, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, and Andrade El Idolo on Saturday, June 17th. TNT launches the second night of professional wrestling with a new tentpole series, AEW Collision, on the 17th, announced today by Kathleen Finch, the chairman and chief content officer of U.S. Networks Group Warner Brothers Discovery. This was during the upfront presentation at Madison Square Garden. This live 2-hour in-ring show, let's see here, will air every Saturday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern and feature more wrestlers, more stories, and more action to super serve the fans. What do you think they mean by super serve there, Rome? I love the idea of being super served. Remember when McDonald's had the Super Size Me?
Well, I think super serve is just the terminology they're using. I think they're looking to deliver in terms of content what we're looking for, and what we're looking for is not more of a Rampage, it's more of a Dynamite level show, and I think that's what they mean when they say that.
Yep, I agree. They say here, in only 4 years following the launch of AEW Dynamite, AEW's footprint has more than doubled across TNT and TBS. Along with AEW Dynamite, Friday night's Rampage, and the recent Follow Doc AEW All Access, now AEW Collision, TNT and TBS deliver the best matches and most entertaining moments in professional wrestling today. AEW has reached 23 million viewers so far this year across all of its shows on TBS and TNT. Did you catch that? So I think they're adding up every show throughout this year that was on TNT and TBS, and they're over 23 million. That's freaking... I never saw them add the numbers up like that throughout a year before. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting way to put it. But at the end of the day, I know that we sit on the internet and talk about the ratings and what we consider to be a hit in the ratings, or what others consider to be a failure in the ratings. But Warner Brothers Discovery has been nothing but thrilled with the job that AEW's done. Kind of hovering around that 1 million, and as a
Yeah.
45-year-old company, whatever it is, it's a good number. And Rampage, they do well for the time slot they're given, especially as much as they move around. And yeah, they're happy with the ratings, which is good. They should be.
Yep, me too. I'm absolutely happy with all this that's going on here. Says that they're doubling down on wrestling with AEW Collision, which is giving fans 2 more hours every week. AEW's roster of talent has expanded so quickly that we felt it needed another night to bring our audience the epic rivalries, unforgettable matches, and stars they love to watch. Adding Collision to our programming mix on TNT will allow us to satisfy the massive demand we've felt from the hardcore fan base and be the ultimate complement to Dynamite on TBS. So that wording right there really, really gets me, that they mentioned the hardcore fan base. So when a lot of people try to use that against AEW, like, oh, they only have a hardcore fan base, TNT is absolutely embracing that. And they're like, bring it. We love the hardcore fan base. Let's build that hardcore fan base. I like that.
I mean, yeah, that hardcore fan base, they stick with you, through thick and thin. They're always going to be there. They're always going to tune in. They're always going to watch. They may not watch live, but they're watching on DVR. Because again, that's the other thing we're not talking about, that no one ever talks about really, is we're always talking about live viewership. But I would, I would love to see the information. Maybe it's out there. I don't know. I would love to see the information about like Rampage DVR views and stuff like
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yeah.
I would love to see what that looks like on by the end of the weekend. I mean, I
Well,
wouldn't be
Ed
surprised.
says that the DVR counts towards ratings.
Does
So
it? Okay.
I don't think it counts towards the ones that we hear the day after, but maybe the ones we hear later in the week, possibly. But because they don't have the DVR numbers until at least I believe it's 48 hours or something like that. But I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
Hmm.
Ed says it's live and next day in the ratings numbers. Okay,
Okay.
that's cool. So I like what Ed says in the chat here, that before Dynamite and Rampage, Turner Networks weren't even in the top 150 on cable unless they had some sort of sporting event going on. And now they're consistently in the top 5 to the top 10. Like sometimes they're number 1, you know what I mean? And that's a big deal to a company to go from being in the hundreds to top 10, top 5 every night almost. That's fantastic for a network. They got to be working on the new deal. I didn't expect us to hear a new deal today, to be honest. I thought that'd be a nice bonus, but when it comes down to it, they got to be working on it, because this looks great for everybody all around.
Yeah. Real quick, I want to head over to the chat. Michael Duke, I asked him earlier how he was doing. He found out that he might have to get some surgery done. I hope you feel better, man.
Oh,
Best wishes, man.
yeah. I hope you do better there, Mike. Just learned my dad has cancer as well, so I understand. So that does it for the AEW Collision press release there. If you guys want to read the full thing, you can check it out in our Discord. If anybody wants to join the Discord, hit !Discord. You'll be able to join up there. We do have one more news story going on here today. AEW Fight Forever, the achievements have been revealed on Xbox, and you are able to preload the game basically as we speak. So I think this is awesome. We got the achievements which reveal a few things. Rome, have you seen these?
I have. I shared them in the Discord.
Absolutely, yes, you did. So a lot of these are just some of your basic achievements. I don't know why it's all zoomed in like that, but we'll take a look at them here. There's one or two that really catch my eye, that there's a lot of questions we had about the game, and wondering if we were going to have the create a wrestler, and how much create a wrestler type things we would have the ability to do. And right away it says create a wrestler as one of these and win a match with them. And the one that I'm looking for here, let me find it. So here's the create a custom wrestler and complete a singles match using them. So that's great. And then right underneath it, create a custom arena and complete a match using it. I was absolutely hoping that we were going to get the ability to create our own wrestling rings and our own arenas and stuff like that. I cannot wait for us to have the Broken Tables professional wrestling organization. Hopefully we will be able to import characters from other people. So like if you guys are able to make a character, hopefully we'll be able to import your character to our game and have the computer match people against each other, or just, do versus matches online in some tournaments. It's going to be freaking awesome. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm very excited for the game. It being able to preload on Xbox tells you that the release is imminent. I mean, usually this type of thing happens, historically speaking, preloading happens around, I would say probably when you're about 4 to 6 weeks out of release. That basically means that the game's gone gold, it's been sent in for certification, it's got everything done that it needs to be done. And then you're just kind of waiting to release it, which at that point is usually strategical, depending on when you want to drop your game.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it's the, like Ed says, also it's the final retail build. Yeah, this is the discs have been printed, they're sitting somewhere. We're
Yeah.
just waiting on a release date.
Oh, I can't wait. I'm seeing a lot of heavy talk on the old Twitter saying that they're going to do it Forbidden Door 2 weekend. So maybe that'll be when it drops. Maybe one of those things where it'll be like hanging in the arena, kind of how when we got to that one arena for Full Gear.
Yeah, I mean, gonna get a little game room pod real quick. I would say that if I were them, I would definitely drop this game in July. I would not drop it in June, and I would not drop it after August. Um, Holiday season's probably going to be really tight. September's already got Starfield and Spider-Man 2. You really don't want to compete with those heavy hitters in the gaming sphere, no matter what your game is. So I wouldn't do that. June's already packed. June's got Street Fighter in it, which is would kind of compete with Fight Forever. So like you don't really want to compete with Street Fighter. So I mean, yeah, I would say July is a great. The only game I can think of that's coming out in July is Pikmin, and that's not really gonna cross much into the.
No, yeah. It's a good
So
idea.
I would say that July would definitely be the sweet spot here.
Awesome, awesome. I can't wait. It's gonna be I'm gonna play a lot of that game. That's gonna be like my go-to. All right, let's go ahead and actually, do you have any news stories you wanted to go over? Did I get everything?
Yeah, I mean, well, so Twitter sucked today. Twitter was absolutely terrible. So I don't know, man. CM Punk, CM Punk news. I mean, I
I
personally
actually
have
had it written
opinions on.
down and I was gonna skip it. Go
No, I
for
mean,
it.
like, we should talk about it because it's annoying and it's stupid. But um, so obviously, like you said, Collision was announced today, and CM Punk was referenced in the original document, which if you clicked on I don't remember exactly what it was, but it's like if you clicked on the final document, which was released on the press, you could click onto like a link which would send you to the original document, which would included CM Punk, and then they took CM Punk out of it, and people were talking, they were saying like, oh, it's because of this, that, the third. There's an issue now between the company and Punk where he wants to bring Ace Steel back, and the company said no, and now Punk's upset, and I don't know. I don't know exactly how much at this point you can take seriously or believe. You know what I mean? It's like I think that at the end of the day, Punk wanted to. I think Punk like it was the worst kept secret, and I think that he didn't want it to be spoiled, but it got spoiled. And I saw
Yeah.
Backer Man on Twitter was like speculating the same thing, and I think he kind of hit the nail on the head on that one, where it was just kind of like, yeah, he's probably kind of upset, so now they're trying to make it seem really like, oh, unsure, because like even WBD put out a statement saying that like AEW Collision is not, they're not, a CM Punk is not associated with AEW Collision. Like that's something that Warner Brothers put out in a statement today, where they were like, no. So I think it's cool that the network's getting in on the work.
Yeah,
Um,
and I also think that he's doing it to kind of like not overshadow the people's names that they did list here. You know, you got Thunder Rosa, Miro, Samoa Joe, Powerhouse Hobbs, Andrade. And if the rumors are true, Samoa Joe's his hand-picked opponent that he wants to face coming back. So I think he wants to highlight these guys for a little bit, you know?
Yeah, definitely. But I think at the end of the day, that's really what it came down to. He didn't want he wanted the return to go the way he wanted it to go. I mean, he's an old, he's not an old fashioned guy necessarily, but in terms of the wrestling business, I think he definitely has some old school tendencies.
Yeah.
I don't really think too much of it, although it's kind of annoying because it is a really badly kept secret, and like we'll talk about it when we get into the Dynamite review. But so anyway, so then Brian Alvarez goes on to the Observer, and Brian's talking about, which keep in mind, during the Brawl Out media scrum, Punk, one of the guys that Punk spoke to directly, other than Nick Houseman, was Alvarez, but that's neither here nor there. Punk basically goes on Instagram, tells sorry, I have something in my eye. Tells Alvarez to like shut the fuck up, stop talking about me. Like he literally said the Brian Alvarez shut the fuck up about CM Punk challenge day one.
Yeah.
But so I mean he did that, and then he put a video out, which I really loved the video that he put out. It was basically him saying that like he understands tribalism in wrestling. He understands like rooting for like your guy, for your team, like that's human nature and everything. But he's like, you don't know me, and you don't know anyone else, which like obviously he's talking about the elite.
Yeah.
He's like, you guys are like picking sides, and you don't know any of us. You don't know the situation. And I thought that was actually, believe it or not, I thought it was a great message. I thought it was actually really true because you have a lot of people like I love both the elite and CM Punk. I want them to make it work, and I think at the end of the day, they either already have smoothed it over or they will smooth it over. I have faith in that, and I think that everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
That being said, the people who a year ago loved CM Punk and now despise the man, or vice versa, the people that loved the elite a year ago and now despise the elite. It's like what are you guys doing? Like what are we actually doing here? It's ridiculous. Can't stand it.
Yeah, I kind of agree. It's gotten to the point where I just want everybody to move on. I'm hoping that most of everything with this is just storyline now, so we'll see.
I think it is, but that's just me.
Yeah. All right, let's run to the chat real quick before we start the Dynamite review. We got Lance Dominguez saying, do you think Orange Cassidy will lose the Battle Royale at Double or Nothing? We'll get to that when we get to that part of the show, but yeah, that's going to be an interesting match there, Lance. Michael Duke says he's very excited Thunder Rosa's coming back to AEW, as are a lot of people. Can't wait for her to return as well. And Ed, I do agree with you. Miro doesn't move tickets, but he does. I think he will move some audience numbers, some ratings, because a lot of people have been asking, where is Miro? Where is Miro? So I do think he might give the ratings just a little bit of a bump, but it's not like we're going to know because we should be getting CM Punk along with everybody. So we'll see what happens.
Strength of the roster. You're bringing everybody back. Andrade.
Yeah, it's like everyone.
Back. Like that's the one out of all of them that really kicks me. Like it's like really Andrade. Okay.
Yeah.
Keep in mind the last time we saw Andrade, he got sent home for picking a fight with Sammy Guevara because he presumably wanted to get out of his contract after illegal contract tampering. Then he got sent home, got like a surgery done. I can't remember what exactly it was for. And now he's coming back. Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
All right, well, let's go ahead and start with the AEW Dynamite review. We had AEW Dynamite here from Austin, Texas tonight, and holy moly, you guys were absolutely amazing in Austin, Texas. This crowd was fantastic all freaking night. We started off with the TNT champion Wardlow heading to the ring. He basically just immediately calls out Christian Cage. He shows up with Luchasaurus. A brawl ensues a lot quicker than I thought was going to, actually. I thought Christian was going to, do another one of his absolutely destroying promos there, but we get a brawl right off the bat. Christian goes to spit into Wardlow's face. Wardlow catches him by the throat and stops him. Luchasaurus attacks. This was pretty interesting here. They basically grabbed a ladder, so Luchasaurus goes outside the ring. He grabs a ladder, brings it inside the ring, and they prop it up against the turnbuckle and smash Wardlow through this ladder. That looked so damn painful. Wardlow sold it tremendously. Like he looked like he had just been absolutely murdered or stabbed in the back. And then they put the ladder down flat on the mat where Christian actually had to step on it to flatten it back out, and he hits him with the kill switch. This was a brutal, brutal attack on Wardlow. I absolutely love how we're going after a ladder match here with Christian. You know, obviously Christian's an amazing ladder match competitor. What did you think of this? How'd this go for you?
I was pretty happy with the segment overall. I think it was just the right length for what it needed to be. Good back and forth between Christian and Wardlow. And I'm excited that Christian Cage is wrestling in a ladder match. Christian's been doing great work. Not great work, phenomenal work since he turned heel, and it's been awesome. And this is going to continue to be a really good run by Christian. And it sucks because I think Christian should win this ladder match.
Yeah, I actually agree. I think Christian should win this as well. But I'm not sure what's going to happen here. This is definitely one of those matches where I'm not going to be able to predict it. This going to be a tough one on our card. I think we're all going to have different choices here.
I think it's going to be a really good one. It could make or break the entire tournament for some people.
Oh, it could, absolutely, yeah. All right, next up we had Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin versus Lee Moriarty and Big Bill. Man, we say it every time, but Orange Cassidy is so over. The freshly squeezed chants were like deafening. I wish I could hear from somebody who was in the arena on how loud those actually were, but on my TV it was deafening coming through those speakers. Absolutely loved this freaking match. The beginning with Orange Cassidy and Lee Moriarty with the series of one count falls, that was one of the coolest opening sequences to a match I've seen in years. Basically, Orange Cassidy and Lee Moriarty kept countering each other into a one fall, and the way that Bryce Remsburg kept yelling, "1, 1, 1," he did it so perfectly that the crowd immediately caught on and they started doing it with them. And they had to have done, what was it, maybe 8, 9, 10 one count falls. That was one of my favorite spots, sequences in a long time. I loved it.
Yeah, so an interesting note to point out at the beginning of the match, and Lee Moriarty said this on Twitter actually today as well, but he said that the firm have been deleted. The firm is over. They're done. This is just two friends who had grudges against these two guys teaming up. But so I thought that was a interesting thing because they even said we haven't seen or heard, no one's seen or heard from Stokely since the final deletion, or the firm deletion, I'm sorry.
Oh, that's right. You will pay for your crimes, Tony Khan.
Tony Khan will pay for his crimes. But no, so no one in kayfabe has seen or heard from him. And Big Bill and Lee Moriarty are no longer the firm. No, the firm is broken up. They're just two guys who are friends who are going against these other guys that they have beef with.
Dude, could you imagine if the kids, Maxwell, like the kids, the Hardy Boys, just have like Stokely down in the basement and he's like tied up and he's just like sitting in the corner shivering or something? Or maybe he's still in the movie theater just watching movies with him. They're just like torturing him with Disney movies. So this was an awesome match. We got an orange punch and a coffin drop at the same time, basically. But Darby Allin does not go for the pin. He picks Lee Moriarty up and he hits him with the side headlock takedown. An obvious message to MJF to pick up the 1, 2, 3. Absolutely loved the finish of this with Darby Allin sending that message to MJF like, "Oh, you think you can win your matches with that headlock takedown? So can I." It was great.
Yeah, again, it's just one of the layers to the whole Four Pillars feud, where this simple wrestling move, a headlock takedown, holds so much value, so much weight, I should say. It's amazing.
All right, next up we had Nick and Matt Jackson being shown backstage, not necessarily backstage, but kind of like way backstage where the wrestlers enter in. I forget what you call that area, like the parking area, or
Jeff, you call it a parking lot.
It wasn't like a parking lot, was it?
It's the parking area. What do you mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, but you know what we mean. The area in the back where the buses and cars can be. And before they could get much out, the Blackpool Combat Club surrounds them, and we get the beatdown. That spot with Nick getting rammed into the front of that truck, man, that looked painful. I don't know if you've ever been like accidentally tripped into a car or anything like that. They don't give at all. That shit had to hurt.
Well, speaking of what looked really good, Nick absolutely chucks his suitcase into Wheeler Yuta's face,
Oh yeah, that was good.
and it excuse me, it fucking decks him. It was great.
Yeah, they tried to put up a good fight, but Blackpool Combat Club got the best of them, and Moxley grabs the camera and he screams, "We are the elite," in this company. So
He says we are the elite in this business.
in this business, yes, we are the elite in this business.
And
Excellent.
I knew we were in for a special night when he said that.
Absolutely, yeah.
He's like, we are the elite. I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
All right, next up, we see Arn Anderson rushing into the medical room where Wardlow's getting tended to. And he grabs the ice pack and slams it up against the wall. And he's like, "I should have been out there with you, Wardlow." And Wardlow's like, "No, dude, no." And essentially, Wardlow challenges Christian Cage to a ladder match at Double or Nothing. And I'm assuming it's going to happen. Now, if you were Wardlow, why would you challenge to a ladder match, which, technically would be like a no DQ match, knowing that Luchasaurus is going to be involved? Where do you think we're going with this?
Well, I think at the end of the day, Wardlow needs to show that he's, that he wants to take it to Christian Cage. So that's why Wardlow does it. I get your point with obviously Luchasaurus is going to play a factor. I wouldn't be surprised if Wardlow doesn't have some backup of its own.
That's what I'm hoping.
I mean, obviously I would go Brock Anderson, Brian Pillman Jr. I think I said a few weeks ago, I think Cole Carter would be a good fit for this Four Horsemen stable if they really want to try and do this this new stable. Obviously, Sean Spears would be a good choice. I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I think it makes sense, especially in a match of this environment with outside interference. On the flip side, you could use that as reasoning for Wardlow to lose. I mean,
you could
take him out, and then Christian wins.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm just kind of interested here. It just kind of ties into the whole meathead thing with Wardlow being a big, big tough dummy. But we'll see. All right, next up. We had Orange Cassidy backstage with Renee, and she says, and Orange Cassidy says, "Listen, anybody that wants a shot at this title, go make your way over to Tony Khan's office and let him know. I'll fight anyone." And I knew right away. He said, "Make your way to Tony Khan's office," and I was like, "Oh man, there's gonna be more than one person going to the office here, OC." So, we'll see what happens later on with that one. What did you think of this?
I think that it's going to be a great match, and it's a thing they usually do for Double or Nothing, these blackjack or casino battle royals. I think it's going to be great. I love that we're seeing I don't know, I think it was in the next segment with Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, he didn't announce that part yet.
Well, no, it's not that. Orange Cassidy, when he asks for a chair.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, "I'm tired. Can I get a chair?"
Renee's like, "Does anyone have a chair for this man?"
And it's in the storyline, obviously, he's clearly getting tired. He's clearly the constant defenses and being the workhorse. It's catching up to him. And you know what? To be fair, I really like it actually, because no other champion defends it as often. And you can ask like, oh well, why not? But it kind of makes sense. It's just like, hey, this guy is defending the title on a near weekly basis. He's on TV every single week, sometimes twice a week.
Yeah.
It would kind of make sense. Sometimes 3 times a week, because the one Sunday where he wrestled and defended the title in New Japan here in Philly, I'm pretty sure he wrestled on Dynamite and Rampage that week. I could be wrong.
Oh, wow.
But regardless, I mean, he's been everywhere and he's been defending this title. So like from a kayfabe sense, like it actually makes a lot of sense that like, hey, this guy is the workhorse right now with the workhorse title. and he's been working hard. He's getting tired.
Yeah. That's a good point. I actually didn't catch that. I thought he was just kind of tired from the match, but that's a great point that how much work he's actually put in now. Like he's getting a little more exhausted each week. It's kind of now that you mention that, it's being I'm seeing it. That's cool.
Yeah, every week it just kind of degrades a little bit more and a little bit more. And I think that I don't know, it would be kind of funny slash I don't know, cool maybe, I don't know, but it would be interesting to see it kind of be like obviously he's been on fire, and then like once he like exhausts his energy and he loses the title, he kind of has to start back at like 0%. Right? You're just like he's not even trying at this point.
Got to recharge.
Yeah, he's got to recharge and he's got to get back to a point where he's willing to try again.
This is good. I love all this stuff. Everything with Orange Cassidy is gold for me now. I absolutely love this guy. Next up, we had Sammy Guevara in what they said was his home state. So Sammy Guevara, you know, from somewhere in Texas, that's great. He got a little bit of cheers here. They didn't want to boo him, we'll put it that way. He got some cheers here. It was pretty nice. But Sammy Guevara versus Exodus Prime. Now, they did this on purpose. They announced Sammy Guevara from Texas, and then they announced Exodus Prime from Oklahoma. Now, if you know anything about college football, Texas and Oklahoma do not get along, not friends at all. So they did this on purpose to get Sammy Guevara some cheers here, and I think it actually worked. I was actually I was impressed that somebody put this much thought into just the announcing of the two wrestlers and who they chose. And Sammy absolutely squashes this guy, Exodus Prime. Hits him with what looked like a V-trigger, a knee to the face. Hits him with the go to hell. 1, 2, 3. I loved this. I thought this was great. And then Sammy gets on the mic and cuts a freaking fantastic promo about becoming champion. I thought this was a great segment for Sammy. What'd you think?
So real quick, he's from Houston.
He's from Houston? Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but yeah.
So how close is Austin and Houston?
I don't want to say because Texas is the size of a small country, so it could be like a couple hundred miles.
It could make sense depending on how close those two are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyways, so I thought. So in the Discord, I had said he's kind of a tweener. I mean, kind of in retrospect, looking back on after the show, this was a very babyface heavy night for him.
It definitely was.
Doesn't mean he can't go back and forth still. And I mean, I still like the Four Pillar storyline the way it is right now. But yeah, Ed says it's only a couple hours between the two, so I can understand that. Then I think that's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this was a really good promo, and again, it's every character in this storyline has their motivations, and they have their reasons for why they want to do what they want to do. And the Sammy's is that, you know, he's like, I believe in myself. All my life, people told me I couldn't do things. I just decided to ignore them, and it's worked out well, and now here I am. And he's like, I may have made a lot of mistakes. You watched me grow up in front of your eyes. But those mistakes I've made, all the wrong roads, eventually lead to the right road. And the right road is Double or Nothing in the main event, where I will become the AEW World Champion.
Yeah, I thought that was a great promo. I was impressed with Sammy here.
It was excellent. And I really do think that all the Four Pillar storyline has just been phenomenal. I think all the characters are set up in a great way for the most part. I mean, I'm very happy going into this.
Yeah, so far tonight we had Darby with a good showing, and we had Sammy Guevara here with a good showing. So that's two of the three pillars. Next up, we had a really nice video package for the Double or Nothing World Championship. You know, they focused on the whole four-pillar match there. Really nice video package. But next up, we had Tony Schiavone with an in-ring. And he introduces Team TNA, Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Satnam, and Sanjay Dutt. the way that Tony Schiavone said that tonight was hilarious because he hates the guy. Now, as they are making their entrance coming down the ramp, Sanjay Dutt has two guitars in his hands. I was very excited to see the double guitars, but immediately FTR shows up out of nowhere and pushes Satnam Singh off the ramp and through some tables. Man, that was very unexpected. Like, I looked away for a half a second. I almost missed it. I was like, holy shit, Satnam through the tables. This was freaking awesome. We get a nice brawl between FTR and the Team TNA for a little bit here. And as FTR are about to hit the big rig on Jeff, who shows up but Karen Jarrett behind Cash. Oh my God. Karen Jarrett with a low blow to Cash. Dax turns around and he gets hit with the stroke from Jeff Jarrett. And we're left with, oh man. So Satnam Singh hits a massive double choke slam to FTR. And you know, it really shows when good workers take that double choke slam, because they made it look really good for him. You know, they made a nice jump, getting way up there in the air without making that jump look too obvious for him. You know what I'm saying? But we're left with Karen Jarrett and Jeff Jarrett with Jay Lethal standing tall, holding up the AEW World Tag Team Championships. And man, this was so good. Everything that Jeff Jarrett has touched since entering AEW has been amazing. And I can't believe that any of us doubted it at all. Like, it's so good.
So, obviously, for those that aren't aware, Karen Jarrett was around, in the TNA days with Jeff and everything. So I had a really fun observation, which obviously the observation's been made before, but not like for me. It was kind of like putting it together. Where I don't think there's any other company that really has the guts to do this, but AEW does. Where it's like, so right now we have a faction that is basically Team TNA.
Yeah.
So you got Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, Karen Jarrett, all that stuff. And then you have the Outcasts, and their thing is like, we're a faction of WWE wrestlers. And then you, like, even to a lesser extent, but still is, you have like Bullet Club Gold, which is a bunch of New Japan guys bringing the Bullet Club to AEW. And it's
Ooh,
just
good
like,
point.
it's like, my God, there is just like a faction of each company in AEW. I think that's really cool. Taz, when after Karen Jarrett shows up, Taz says, I fucking love Taz. He says, "What an impact."
I missed that. I didn't catch that.
I was dying. I was absolutely dying when he said that. It was so funny.
Oh, that's a good one. I missed that. Damn, I would have heard that. But I was not expecting Karen Jarrett. I actually popped. I yelled at my screen. I was like, "It's Jeff's wife!" Oh God! Like I couldn't even get her name out of my brain. I just yelled Jeff's wife. But yeah, Karen Jarrett. I'm not sure if she's gonna be all elite or not. But you know, being Jeff's wife, I'm sure she can just appear whenever they feel like it. All right, Mike. Sorry about that. I'm not sure why the Nightbot yelled at you for the spamming there. All right, next up we had Darby Allin with Renee Paquette. He had a message for MJF. Basically telling him, I did your headlock takeover. What now? And Sammy shows up and cuts a really good promo here. Another one, the second of Sammy's tonight, saying, listen, we may not like each other. He's like, but listen, I'm still gonna try against MJF, and I really hope that it's one of us three that takes that belt from that prick. I really like this, man. Sammy has absolutely turned everything around. The flip flops are on.
But no, I mean, I love this dynamic, and I know there was some disagreement in the Discord, but this dynamic that the other three pillars, they all respect each other, but at the end of the day, they want to win the title. But there's a little side but, like a side asterisk, that it's like, hey, at the end of the day, if it's not going to be me, it can't be MJF. Like somebody's got to take this prick out, and I think that that's a really awesome dynamic, and that's why you saw MJF the way he was tonight, because he knows that that's the dynamic now, where all three of the pillars, MJF has done his best to kind of sow the issues and the problems between them. And at the end of the day, like, they may not 100% like each other, but they don't need to. It is what it is. But they have a common respect for each other, because they all know that for those three pillars, they all want what's best for the company, and they want to succeed to make the company the best it can be. And I think that's where it kind of comes from. And yeah, I thought it was great. This was a great step in the direction, because you get Darby and Jack on the same page after the feuding that they've been doing for a few weeks now.
Yeah. All right. Next up, we had the Outcasts. It was Ruby Soho and Tony Storm versus Hikaru Shida returning from Japan and Dr. Britt Baker, DMD. Dude, I know as soon as we saw Shida, obviously we knew this was going to be a great match. And we know all four of these girls can go. But oh my God, this match blew me away. This was my match of the night. This match was absolutely incredible for me. Ruby Soho's new look, she's got her heel look with the green hair, looks absolutely incredible. And dude, this match, we had the Outcast attacking Shida before the bell, and she turns it around and beats the shit out of both of these girls for a few minutes. Absolutely loved the beginning of the match. This was one of my, like I said, this was my match of the night. What about you?
Oh, this wasn't my match of the night, but it was really good. First of all, Hikaru Shida with the brand new entrance looked
So
amazing.
good.
Looked amazing. No, this is a really good match, and it was also kind of a crazy thing to see. In general, it was actually a crazy night for tag teams because obviously
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy and Darby Allin was wild. But if you're a day one AEW kid, you know what I mean, and you're over here watching since day one, you get Britt Baker and Hikaru Shida teaming up. That's insane. Like that was. I don't think that people really talked enough about how like insane that tag team pairing is. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
Like,
I
that was
think it came about on accident because we had Jamie Hayter reportedly has a minor injury of some sort. I'm
Yeah,
not sure what it is yet, but it seems to be legit.
well, they're selling it as an attack by Tony Storm. We don't know if
Okay.
that. I mean, she has been in a brace for the last few weeks. But yeah, they said that she wasn't cleared. Sean Ross Sapp did say that it was not an angle. She legitimately was not cleared to compete tonight.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, but they're apparently anticipating her to be good to go in 10 days because they set up for a match at the pay-per-view later on. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, this was a great match. I mean, it's the storyline that they've been telling, and
It, I loved everything about this match. I loved Sheeta being involved. I loved the beginning where they attacked Sheeta before the bell and then got their asses kicked. I loved the finish here where Saraya was casting distraction and they spray Britt in the face with the green spray paint behind the ref's back. The Storm 0, 1, 2, 3 from Tony Storm to Britt Baker. This I loved everything about this, man. Maybe Ed might be the one in chat because he watches the Ed, can you remember a better women's tag team match than this? And I'm talking about in any company recently. I mean, this tag team match for the women was absolutely phenomenal in my opinion. I was blown away here. I loved every second of this.
yeah, it was a great match.
All right, let's move on here to the next one. We had Renee Paquette backstage with Orange Cassidy once again, and she kind of wanted to advise him, Orange, after you told everybody to go to Tony's office, about 20 people showed up, and Orange says, "Oh, damn, I guess I'll fight them all." He's like, 20 people, huh? He's like, "I guess I'm gonna compete as well, so that's 21." In Vegas, double or nothing. He's like, the Blackjack Battle Royale. So I really love the name of this, being from Vegas myself. Blackjack's my game. Do you think we're going to have any sort of special rules for this? Or, have you preempted me? Is there some sort of tweet with the special rules for this at all?
No, but it's a blackjack battle royal.
What's that? What does that mean? Usually it's a casino battle royale. How do you think this one's going to go down?
In the blackjack battle royal, if I recall, it's very similar to the casino battle royale in the sense that there's a deck of cards. Everyone draws the card. I think
Okay.
it's because there's 21. I don't remember exactly, but I would assume it's just everyone draws a card from the deck, and whoever draws whatever number you draw, it comes out, or whatever
Huh.
whatever suit you draw goes out.
Have they have they done the blackjack before? I don't recall that being used, but I guess if they have, I'll check it out and see what they did
What
then.
they called the original Battle Royal.
Oh, you could be right. I thought the original was the Casino Battle Royale, but I'm not sure.
You might be right.
So-
I'm looking.
But either way, I love the name of it. If it's just 21 members, that's cool. I hope it's not the kind where 21 dudes start in the middle of the ring and just start throwing each other over immediately. I don't like those. Give me one where everybody shows up once a minute. You know what I mean? Give me one guy a minute. And since Orange Cassidy's the champion, he should be number 21. You know what I'm saying? Like that'd be the way I did it. But
Well, I think usually it's because the 21st would be the Joker.
okay. Well, see, that would be a casino with the Joker. I don't even know. There's too many of these battle royales. We'll figure it out though.
Well, so something funny that happened was Orange Cassidy said that 20 people went and talked to Tony, and he's like, 20? That's a lot.
Yeah.
And then he says, he's like, well, Renee, do you want to get in on this? Make it 22?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm good.
She's like, no, I'm good.
She thought about it for a second, though. You could see in her face. She's like, no.
All right. Well, moving on here. Next up, Tony Khan with his announcement. He kind of just reiterated what happened earlier at the Warner, the AEW Collision announcement on Saturday from 8 to 10. I'm so happy about this. I can't wait. Did he add anything to this at all?
So he basically
he added the tour dates in Canada, right?
So he's had the tour dates, and they are Saturday, June 17th, Saturday, July 8th, June 24th, July 15th, the 29th, the 22nd, or I'm sorry, June 22nd. I read that completely wrong. I'm sorry. But basically, yeah, he lays it out. They're all the Canada shows. He also said for some reason he called Regina, which is a place in Canada, Regina, and of course Twitter, had a great time with that. And then Saturday, July 22nd, they're coming back to Newark, come back to the States in Newark, New Jersey, in the Prudential Center. And then he goes on to say that the first show on June 17th, they will announce the venue of the show next week. And here's my thing, right? This elaboration on the huge announcement kind of annoyed me. I was actually not happy with this. I felt like if you were going to speak on it, you should give more details. I think you should have announced that you're running the United Center. I understand, again, if everything so far is like a work and they're stirring the pot to kind of add seeds of doubt or whatever happens. I understand them holding off another week to announce the United Center for that first show. However,
Gotcha.
I was just like, get it out of the way. I think Ed was saying it too. It's just like just announce he's coming back, get it in, get it done, so we can just stop complaining about whether he's coming back or not. Regardless of whether he's fixed things with the Elite or not, he's definitely coming back at this point. It's pretty much there. You know what I mean? Like, there's money on the line. There's contracts that have been signed, no doubt. Like, he's coming back. Whether you want him to or not, whether he made it up with everyone or not, it doesn't matter. He is coming back. So for them to kind of like, okay, well, let's let this discourse, marinate for another week. I was just like, why are we doing this? And I was also annoyed that they didn't really give a lot of details. All the details we have about the show, whether it be a brand split or whatever it is, we found out through the sheets today. And I feel like Tony, if he was going to take the time to come on TV, he should have at least said something about the show other than, hey, we're going to be in Canada over the summer. Like, I don't know. This fell very flat for me, where I was expecting some sort of confirmation of actual news. Like, these dates weren't news. I mean, I guess the only news that you can kind of see that was confirmed was one of the dates was a Thursday. So that means that, like, out of the 7 dates that they've announced that are Saturday, the 6 of them are Saturdays, which means they will occasionally run a Thursday show and tape it. And I'm hoping that it is as rare as it seems it's going to be. I would say I would accept 1 out of every 7 shows on a regular basis to be taped. Maybe they'll do that on pay-per-view weeks just to make it easier. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, in general, I was just kind of like, what was the point of this? I didn't really get it. I
mean,
didn't see it.
It was what I expected, but I can totally see how, it fell short for you. It was basically what I expected, you know what I mean?
I just wanted it to be worth announcing, like, because everyone makes this big fuss and he makes all these jokes about, like, oh, Tony Khan with a huge announcement, haha, and then usually I think it's always worthy of talking about. To date, I haven't ever been like, oh no, that's not, like, this wasn't necessary. This could have been a tweet. It could have been.
Yeah. Well, and where I agree with you here is he should have elaborated a little bit, because there are people that don't sit there on Twitter all day and they're not on YouTube all day, and they may have been at work, came home, settled in, and then sat down to watch Dynamite, and didn't hear all this stuff about Collision, so I think he should have explained it a little bit more, like you said.
So Ed says if you set expectations that it didn't meet, that's on you. What you told me when I pooed on the Owen tournament announcement. Now tell me why. Because I was expecting, like, that was still news. Like, there's one thing for you to expect, like, an announcement, and then it's an announcement that you don't care for. The difference is that he didn't say anything new. There was no new information here, and that's how it's different, Ed. Ed's always trying to cause trouble. A tournament they've already done before, yeah, but there was no official announcement they were doing it again.
So you're talking about the second time? Yeah.
Yeah, so Jeff, if you remember, I know you're getting up in the years, so you may not remember, when they announced the Owen as like an announcement, Ed was underwhelmed, and I did say, I was like, I mean, it was an announcement. I think it's a good announcement. It's a tournament that did very well for them last year, and if you expected a lot more, like, I mean, that's expectations. And I don't disagree with that. But this is not the same thing, because it's not like I was expecting a different kind of announcement. I was expecting them to talk about Collision, but I expected them to talk about Collision. There was no talk about anything new on an official standpoint from the company. Nothing. There was like, hey, these are the dates we're doing. Like, well, you kind of already announced these dates. All of them.
Yeah. Now, one of the reasons
and then they do the announcement of the announcement thing, which, look, that was also kind of annoying. Like, just say you're running the United Center today. Then that would see, like, but that would have been worthy of saying, and that's what I'm saying.
One of the things that got me with the dates that he announced is because I'm going to Forbidden Door, and I saw one of those Collision dates is very close to the Forbidden Door and Dynamite that I'm going to. So the wife immediately was like, we're going. So I was like, yeah. So that made the announcement pretty cool for me, but I can see how it would have fell short for you.
Again, it's fine. It's just they didn't say anything. Again, and that's the thing I don't think Ed's understanding. It's not that I'm disappointed by the announcement. There was no announcement. That's the thing. That's where it's different.
All right. Let's go ahead and move on here to the Falls Count Anywhere match. Roderick Strong versus Chris Jericho, where Adam Cole and the Jericho Appreciation Society were banned from the building. Sammy Guevara was asked to leave the building after his match. And dude, this was another great match. I guess this could have been some people's match of the night, but I really love that women's match so much that I think I'm still going to give it to the ladies here over this one. But, man, Roderick Strong looked incredible here in this one. Jericho's really putting on those working shoes, man. He's been, for about a year or two now, just absolutely having great matches with a lot of these new young guys, man. His chest was hamburger within like 2 minutes of the match.
Yeah, Roddy with the chops, man. Roddy with the chops.
Jericho just loves taking a beating from these young guys. It's definitely getting more apparent lately. He likes facing these young guys and loves letting them get a lot of offense in, because Roddy absolutely took it to Jericho here. And at one point, Roddy has this move where he runs back and forth on the ropes, but really close to the turnbuckle. And he caught Aubrey in the corner, and it looked like he kind of smashed her into the corner, and she kind of had to dive out of the way a little bit. It was pretty funny. I know Ed loved that spot there.
So I had a funny moment, a funny observation, right? So I'm watching this match, And they spent the entire first, leading up to the first commercial break, which was like 4 or 5 minutes. They are in the ring for the entire time, right?
Yeah.
And I write in my notes, I was like, why was this a Falls Count Anywhere match? It feels like they're just gonna like fight around the ring and then call it a day. Because there was like usually with these Falls Count Anywhere matches, there's a good chunk of escalation around like right before you go to the first commercial, then you come back and then you're outside the ring and whatever. And they didn't even do that. I was like, this is weird. Little did I know, this is gonna go on to be probably one of the better Falls Count Anywhere matches that they've done in the company.
Yeah, I got to agree with that.
This was phenomenal. I love this. It was the match of the night for me. I thought that there was just a lot of cool imagery, some really great shots, some really creative stuff that was done by both guys that just made it a lot of fun. And I say it a lot. I'm a big fan of things like utilize doing something different and looking different.
Yeah, and Ed's talking about the rope break in the match with no DQ. And you know what? I blame that on Aubrey, Ed. I don't blame that on anybody in the back. That's Aubrey. She's a referee. She should know that that's a no DQ match, and she should have just been like, "No, sorry." And they should have moved on from there, but she gave him the rope break and they had to go with it, you know what I mean? So I put that on Aubrey, to be honest.
Yeah. So I love this. I thought that, when they went and they were fighting outside the ring, they go into the concourse. Taz says Concourse Jones, which always love
Yeah.
that. Taz is the man, dude. He is just amazing. I love Taz. So they're fighting the concourse. Crowd was great. The way that the crowd,
Oh yeah,
those security guards, because they really let those fans be pretty damn close for most of it. Like they were
they
there.
always do. It's wild.
Not always. A lot of times they're like, give them space, give them space. This was like they were up, right up against them. They go to a stairwell. It was a great shot because if you don't know the building, you don't know that there's an awning there. It looks like Strong just throws Jericho over the stair, the railing. And
I got to see if I can find a picture of that stairwell with these two guys on there. That was incredible. That stairwell spot was one of my favorite things in a long time.
Yeah, that's so they go for a pin on the what is it called? Like the girder or whatever. The beam.
It's just like a concrete part of the wall that just happened to have a ledge.
Well, no, it was a metal beam. It was clearly a steel beam. But so anyway, they have the steel beam there, and they go for a pin on the steel beam. Aubrey's counting the pin vertically on the railing, and Shivani's like, that's probably never happened before in wrestling.
Yeah, that was wild.
They go back into the concourse, and again, just a great shot of them going around the concourse, and that you could just see the crowd behind them just following and chanting, and it was a really cool shot. Roderick hits him with some ice cream. They're doing some fighting, some really fun stuff. Leads to outside, which again, I'm big fan of doing things that you don't normally do. And so to kind of like go outside, it's still daylight, and Roddy leads Jericho outside, and there's Adam Cole, and they beat him down. Meanwhile, Daniel Garcia is on Twitter saying, "WTF? I thought he was banned from being in Austin." I love Daniel Garcia working here, and then Daniel Garcia, he tags Sammy. He's like, "Did you leave already? Like, where are you?" Sammy never responds. So it leads to Cole hitting the boom. Roderick hits them with the knee, and Roderick Strong beats Jericho.
So I got the picture of where these dudes were battling in the stairwell. It's literally just, I don't even know why it's there, but it's just a giant concrete walkway built into this freaking arena. This is so weird. But I was like, holy shit, when they were doing this, man. Because down there where the stairs go down, that's got to be 10 feet, maybe 12 feet.
Please, Jeff.
No, I'm not playing any video. It's just a photo.
Okay.
And like, wow, like I can't believe these dudes were. It looked amazing the way they were battling right there. It really did.
So the Coog points out that the Texas cops weren't even doing anything. They were just standing around slacking. There was this one cop that was standing there up against the wall, just watching this fight, and he was like cheesing it. He had the biggest smile. You could tell he was having the time of his life, fucking hanging out, watching these two guys beat the shit out of each other in front of him. I was cracking up because this cop is just standing there like, this is great. I'm having a great time right now. This is a great assignment for me. But no, this is incredible. I absolutely loved it, and it was my match of the night.
Yeah, you know, this could easily be the match of the night as well. I really love that ladies match, but yeah, this was excellent. This Falls Count Anywhere was amazing, especially as soon as they spilled to the outside of the arena and Adam Cole's just standing there. That was just so good. I did not expect that at all. I popped. I'll definitely I'll admit that I popped for the Adam Cole showing up there. Adam Cole hits that boom and yeah, Roderick gets the 1, 2, 3. Loved it. Absolutely loved it. All right, next up we had Roosh versus Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And this is what I was kind of waiting to get to this spot here because earlier throughout the night we had Darby Allin with a really nice showing in his match and Sammy Guevara with a nice squash match. He looked really good. But Jungle Boy gets his ass absolutely whooped by Roosh in this match. And I mean like from pillar to post. This kid was getting his ass whooped, and I don't know where he got busted open, but at some point throughout the match, Jungle Boy's busted open and bleeding, and he winds up picking up the win via the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. And, man, what's up with Jungle Boy being the only one not having, like, a good showing tonight? You know what I mean? Like, Jungle Boy looked like he got his ass whooped and just barely won this match, you know?
Well, I would put it up to a few things. So number one, I also wasn't the biggest fan of the spot that they put Jack in here. I think they did it. Part of me wonders if they did it because of the backlash that was kind of going around when they announced this match, because people were complaining. They were saying like Jack should not, like, I can't believe they're gonna have Roosh do a job here, which here's the thing. When you have a strong roster like this and you put guys over to make guys feel credible, you're gonna want to have these kinds of matches where it's like, oh wow, like both these guys should win this. Like that's good booking, but it's also obviously there's the time where you don't want to book yourself into a corner. Like it's a situational thing. But it made sense here. I mean, Jack should be picking up a convincing win. And at the same time, Jack should struggle more than the other two because Darby was in a tag match, so it wasn't all on him. And Sammy had a squash match. So
Against a nobody that people have never heard of, you know. Yeah.
exactly. So it's okay and it makes sense for Jack to struggle. And look, at the end of the day, it was actually really well booked because
I agree.
Roosh looked great. Jack won. Roosh got heat after the match. And at the end of the day, like that's what you want to have happen, especially if you're going to lose. If you're going to have your heel lose, make him look good and give him heat after the match.
Yeah, absolutely. So the moment Jungle Boy picks up that roll-up victory, Roosh just immediately starts the beat down. Him and Preston Vance continue the beat down, and Darby Allin shows up to try to make the save, but he cannot. He starts getting beat down as well, and the crowd actually starts chanting for Sammy, and Sammy Guevara's music plays, and he shows back up, and he makes the save. I thought this was great. You know, the three pillars wind up standing tall. I liked it.
I also liked it. Again, I think it's okay for these three guys to have respect for each other. Like, I don't see what the problem is. It's just, hey, we all want to be a champion, but we respect each other. There is a mutual respect here amongst competitors. You know, it's like, okay.
Yeah. And I agree with you where, like, I don't have a problem with all three of them having respect for each other, but I also see Ed's point of wishing there was another heel in this mix rather than three kind of sort of baby faces and a heel. But I'm on both sides. I don't think it bothers me either way.
See, I just think that MJF is a strong enough heel where he can carry this. And I think the dynamic actually makes a lot more sense if you look at it from the aspect of have the three guys who, yes, like I will go back on what I said in the Discord. Like, yeah, I wouldn't say Sammy's a tweener right now. I would say that Sammy is definitely working as a face, at least as of the past like 2-ish weeks. So I'll even kind of circle back or cycle back a little bit, backtrack if you would, on that take. But no, I think that the dynamic of having these three guys, MJF is this cocky piece of shit heel, the devil, who keeps fucking weaseling his way out of these title matches. He keeps finding a way to just survive, not just title matches, even before he became champion. He just finds a way to win. And all three of the pillars know that. So it's like, I think that the dynamic works just fine. I think it's a great dynamic where you're going to have these three guys
Yeah.
who all want the same thing, and that's to, one, win the title themselves, and two, just make sure MJF fucking loses and gets his comeuppance. Which is really what a babyface should do. They want the heel to get their comeuppance. That's just storytelling. And I think it works. I think that it's going to lead to a really fun match, a really great match where you're going to see, again, it's not going to be about the four of them beating the crap out of each other. It's going to be who can get MJF on the mat. Who's going to be the one to pin MJF? And I think that that's fine. I think that's a different way to look at it, and there's nothing wrong with doing things a little differently.
Yeah, I agree. I think they wound up getting to where they needed to be with it. I think it'll turn out well as well. I think it'll turn out well also.
And see, Ed says they can form a trios after they lose. I actually don't think they should do that. No, I would say don't do that.
Yeah, I don't know about that. You know,
do that.
maybe.
I wouldn't. I don't know. I would have them just go back to going their separate ways. I mean, they're all baby faces, and it's like, hey, we'll meet down the road somewhere.
Maybe they can form a trios team after they lose. Oh yeah, I see. He's kind of being sarcastic there.
Yeah, I thought so, but I'm still saying it's just.
Yeah. Next up, we had Renee Paquette backstage with MJF. Basically asking MJF how he feels after seeing all three of the matches here tonight, and his chances of winning the Fatal 4-Way. And a silent MJF slaps the mic out of Renee's hand. Oof. I'm not sure Mox is going to be too happy about that one.
He's not going to address that, Jeff.
I know.
You keep saying it. They're both heels. Like it's not. They're not. They haven't done that, and they're not going.
He could address it somewhere down the line in the future. Like, I don't remember you slapping the mic out of my wife's hand.
I mean, sure, but you're MJ. He's not going to say anything anytime soon.
No, yeah, I don't think so either. Next up, we had Renee Paquette with Tony Storm, basically saying that Tony Storm has 4 wins in 5 days and cuts a promo on Jamie Hayter and challenges her to Double or Nothing. And I'm not sure I figured this out properly, but 4 wins in 5 days, where did that come from for Tony Storm? Has she had 4 wins in 5 days?
4 wins in 5 days? Is that what she said?
I'm pretty sure that's what they said. Can anybody correct me on that if I am wrong? But
I don't think she said that. There's no way. She didn't wrestle 4 times in 5 days.
That's what I said. I was like, what are we talking about?
Anymore. I don't know. I don't remember that being said, Jeff.
All right, it's possible it wasn't, but I was pretty sure I heard that. I don't know what was going on there, but she challenges Jamie Hayter for Double or Nothing. So I'm interested to see that match again. That'd be a rematch for the women's championship. I don't think Tony Storm ever got her rematch, did she?
I thought it was interesting that no, she didn't get a rematch. I thought this was interesting that this is the way that they were going with it, though. I really thought they were going to, and I know Ed would hate this, and I'm not saying whether it's warranted or not, just it's where I thought they were going. Unless they saved that for All In, because they're both, gals from across the pond, as you would say.
Yeah.
I really thought Saraya was the play here versus Jamie.
I think they're saving that for All In for sure for Wembley.
Probably, but that was what I thought we were leading up to here. I thought we were leading up to Jamie versus Saraya, because we already did Jamie versus against Tony. Which, I mean, it's been what, 6 months? It's okay to
it's been a while. It's time for the rematch.
But yeah, I mean, this will be really good.
Well, yeah, Ed, you might hate it but for the fans in the UK to have 2, women from the UK going after that championship, not a bathroom break for them, dude.
And Jamie Hayter's so good, but Ed's gonna not watch a Jamie Hayter match.
Absolutely.
You hate to see it.
That's what we're thinking, Coog. I'm almost sure that's what we're gonna see.
Probably.
But next up, we had the main event. It's kind of funny. I wrote it down this way. I wrote main event Jay White because main event Jay Uso or whatever they call him over there. I don't know. It's just the way that I wrote it down. But Jay White versus Ricky Starks. In Ricky Starks, what they called his second hometown.
So
Go ahead.
hold on. There's a difference when what Ed is saying. That once again, Ed doesn't understand that there's a difference. Yeah, Seth Rollins is very talented, and I think very highly of him. However, I'm not watching WWE and then choosing to turn off a Seth Rollins match. Like,
He doesn't watch it at
he's
all.
comparing apples to oranges, where it's like he's already sitting down watching the product, right? Like that's my thing. Ed is sitting down and watching this product, and then he's legitimately turning it off.
Or he's willingly walking away from it, yes.
Right, exactly. He's getting up and walking away from the product. That's what I'm saying. He's saying, "Oh, well, you don't watch Seth Rollins." Like, yeah, you're right. I don't watch anybody in that company. I don't watch that product. It's not the same thing. It would be like if I sat down and watched all of WWE whenever fucking Madcap Moss came on TV. I was like, you know what? I'm done. And I got up and walked away. It's just not the same thing. Goodness.
But this was a great match, man. We had, basically Ricky Stark's toughness versus Jay White's brain, and we had Juice Robinson outside on the outside of the ring casting his distraction. This was very interesting here, how we rarely ever get these DQs in AEW. So Jay White gouges at the eyes of Ricky Starks as Ricky Starks is taking the upper hand in the match. And this kind of causes Ricky Starks to flip out and kind of just get all pissed off. And he grabs a chair and just starts beating Jay White's ass with the chair and gets himself disqualified. As Jay White and Juice Robinson run off up the ramp, Ricky Starks puts the chair down in the ring and has himself a seat. I liked this. We don't often get DQs like this, and every once in a while I think they're all right. And I like that it was a babyface actually getting the DQ here. I don't know what it was, but I liked it.
So I don't have a problem with them doing a DQ finish in general because, like you said, they don't do it very often. And it's okay to do these kinds of finishes as long as you're not over relying on them. My problem with the finish kind of comes from that I just don't feel like it was warranted. I mean, yes, Ricky has been dealing with the two of them for probably going on a month now, and I understand that. But I don't know. I was watching this. I was like, did Ricky really need to do that? Was there really did the frustration for Ricky really boil over in the 3 matches that have been had? Where one of those matches he even had Action Andretti to back him up. I don't know. I was just sitting there and the finish didn't make a lot of sense, and I'm sure it's going to lead to a gimmick match of some sort at the pay-per-view, and I'm sure it'll be a phenomenal match because leading up to the finish, this was a great match. But I just think I don't know. The ending didn't sit right with me because it just didn't feel warranted. I don't think Ricky what's Ricky's motivation for doing this in terms of the character? Why would he do this? He had it in his hands, and he dispatched Juice Robinson. He hit Juice with the chair. He got rid of him, and then he was like, that's your time to win the match. He's like, nah. Also, thought it was weird that technically Paul Turner didn't throw out the match until the second chair shot. Technically,
Yeah,
because he hits him in the gut, and
he hit him in the gut. Yeah,
and Turner's like, "What do you do?" If Ricky had gone for the pin there, would Turner have not disqualified him? Because he didn't ring the bell until the second chair shot.
Yeah. Well, the gut shot's not usually the one that's supposed to take somebody out. So he was kind of like, whoa, dude. I actually liked that. I was like, ooh, the ref's discretion again. I like it.
Yeah, I get that. Okay, I'll bite on that one. I still just don't think the ending was warranted.
No, I don't.
They could clearly make up for it at the pay-per-view, which I think they will. But
if anything, there should have been multiple spots with Juice interrupting and multiple cheating spots with them where he was just fed up. But they kind of only did 1 or 2 and then he was fed up with it,
Right.
But that's where we got to. Ricky Starks sitting there in the chair afterwards. He got himself disqualified. Next up, we had Tony Schiavone with Don Callis coming to the ring, and security is flanking the entire ramp on both sides. Don Callis comes out to no music, to a blank black screen with only the video of him stabbing Kenny Omega in the back / face with the screwdriver. I absolutely loved the no entrance music or anything for him because it really, really added to what came next. The crowd was chanting "piece of shit" so loud that people in my house heard it from the other room and they were like, "Whoa." You know what I mean? And like came in. This was incredible. The crowd here in Austin was fantastic for this. And Don Callis essentially says, "Without me, there is no Kenny Omega." And immediately Kenny Omega's music starts playing. Kenny comes out, starts beating up some security guards, but immediately the Blackpool Combat Club attack Kenny from behind. The whole time here, I was shouting, "Where's Kota Ibushi?" But I was just so blinded by my want for him to be in AEW that I completely missed what was obviously about to happen here. The Bucks come stumbling out from the back with a trash can full of weapons. There's a 2x4. There was Kenny's old broom with the barbed wire. And sure enough, it's only 3 versus 4. The Blackpool Combat Club saying, "Bring it on." And whose music hits but the Hangman, Adam Page. Finally, the friends have reunited. The Elite are back together. And the Elite, oh my God, it was so good. There's a massive brawl ringside. Kenny hands the broom to the Hangman. Massive BTE trigger to Wheeler Yuta in the middle of the ring. The shotgun lariat from Hangman to Wheeler Yuta as well. I mean, this was just absolute perfection. This was one of the best finishes to a Dynamite we've had in a while. I loved every second of this. So good.
So I thought they did a phenomenal job. Number one, this absolutely deserved to go on last, and it was phenomenal. I loved the entrance. I thought it was so like there were some people chattering that like, oh, Don should troll and do Kenny's entrance and come out to like make people think that Kenny's coming out. I'm so glad they didn't do that because while that would have been a pretty big, good amount of heat, the crowd tonight in Austin was just letting them have it and just having the security guards. It was all just so well done. He comes out and he talks about. Because like everyone's saying what I did to Kenny, no one's talking about what Kenny did to me. I did all of this for Kenny. Without me, there is no Kenny Omega. Kenny comes out, and it was funny because it was what I had predicted, but it was kind of opposite. It was flipped, where Hangman wasn't the first one to come out to rally the troops. It was the other way around, and I thought that it was just, it's just perfect. It was just years of storytelling building up for.
Yeah.
Watching the BTEs, watching Hangman get choked up, like on a random episode of BTE talking about friendship. Like he's like, yeah, you got to be there for your friends, and oh shit, and, he starts feeling it, and like just random, just little storytelling, the text messages that don't get sent, like all this stuff.
Eye patch.
The eye patch
was so good. And the way that the Bucks were limping as they were dragging the trash can with the weapons out, like. They were obviously still hurt from the beatdown earlier in the night. Like everything about this was done with absolute perfection, man. It was so good.
I completely agree. And then you get all of them in the ring. And Hangman says, he says, "We are the Elite. We are the heart and spirit. We are the heart and soul and spirit of this place. We are the Elite." And then Hangman says, "A double or nothing. It's going to be the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Elite. Anarchy in the arena."
Oh man!
So I screamed when Hangman came out. My wife texted me and was like, "What the fuck was that?" She called me. She was like, "What was that?"
Oh shit! That's funny. And dude, the way we go off the air with Hangman standing in the front with the Elite behind him again, what is that, the 3rd or 4th time we've seen that camera shot?
Well, again, because and that's the beauty of the story that they're telling in the imagery. So, and you see it very clearly. So, Hangman, this time around, Hangman turns around and you see that there's still that separation, and then he walks over and joins them, and it's just like cinema.
So
This is
good,
complete
dude.
art.
So
This was
good.
artful. Not only was this one of the best endings of Dynamite, this may be the best ending of a Dynamite that I could think of. This was
Definitely one of, absolutely.
This was absolutely incredible.
Loved it. Let us know what you guys thought of the ending to this in chat. Ed says Anarchy in the Arena last year was one of the best matches all year in AEW. 100% agree with that as well. So, I can't wait, man. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I agree. I'm very excited for this.
All right. Excellent episode of Dynamite here tonight. What do we have lined up for Rampage this week? Do you have the card ready to go?
I do. 1 second.
Should be a decent episode of Rampage, hopefully. Trying to hype everything up. You got to at least put on something decent.
Well, this Friday, Rampage is a special start time of 6:30 p.m. Eastern. We got the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Best Amigos and Bandito. We will hear from the Hardys. The Acclaimed and Daddy Ass will be taking on the Varsity Athletes. Jade Cargill will be having an open challenge for the TBS title. And the Mogul Embassy's Bishop Khan will be taking on Dustin Rhodes. This Wednesday on Dynamite for some reason. Don't know why this isn't on Thursday. Our Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championship match. Lucha Bros versus Claudio Castagnoli and Wheeler Yuta.
Ooh, that was nice. Good job. That was less than like 30 seconds.
I would have done that match on Thursday, but they're going to do it on Dynamite.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All right. You got anything you wanted to go over here before we head out for the night?
No, that's pretty much it. I know, Ed. It sucks because I started and I had a cough that I literally juggled that cough between every single match. I wanted to go faster. I almost could, but it is what it is. But no, I mean that's generally it. This was an excellent ending of Dynamite that I sorely appreciated. Or deeply.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, thank you guys very much for joining us here tonight. Rome, you want to go ahead and close us out, sir?
Absolutely. Well, this has been episode 143 of the Broken Tables podcast. Thank you to everyone hanging out with us tonight. Thank you to the Coog, the coach, Michael, TJ stopped by for a little bit. Ed, everybody was here. Really appreciate it. Now there's that cough. Make sure you like the video on your way out and subscribe if you haven't already. Really appreciate it. I'm working this Friday, so I don't know what Jeff's doing. But Rampage is on at 6:30. So.
Oh, that's gross.
Yeah, I could maybe do something like Saturday morning, but maybe not even that. I don't even know. But anyways, if you like to, we talk
Good
wrestling.
idea,
Ed. What did Ed say?
Jeff said I should take that clip of you and double the speed.
Oh, you totally should actually. That would be a really good call.
I'm going to. That's a great idea.
Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, if you like what we do here, we talk about pro wrestling. Next week is a big week of content for us. We talk about video games when we do the Game Room podcast. We have a big show coming up on Monday. We had to cancel this week's episode, so it's going to be an even bigger show. We're going to be talking Zelda, the EU, and Microsoft, and all that stuff. PlayStation has a showcase next week, so I'm sure we're going to be talking about that. Double or Nothing is also next week, so we're going to obviously do our Dynamite show and, prediction show, pay-per-view post show, all that good stuff. Make sure you follow us on our social medias in the description below. Until next time, we'll see you guys later.
All right. We appreciate you guys very much for hanging out with us every Wednesday and Friday night or Saturday, whatever they decide to throw Rampage on for us. And until next time, top guys out.